Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters, and the message that she sent to me reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am a woman who is from Zim, but currently I am staying in an area here in Sandton, and I never thought that I'll end up staying in the most richest suburbs here in South Africa. I am someone who was just staying in the villages, the remote villages there in Zim, but all of a sudden my husband returned back home one night and he grabbed me and the kids and he smuggled us back into South Africa. This is my own story. My husband sold off my womb to this other traditional healer, but I have asked him the process that he did when he was sacrificing my womb. He has refused to tell me. All that he told me is that he was taken to this other place there in Durban. He was taken to this other beach, and when he went there in Durban, that was when they said that they wanted to wash him so that all of those the evil spirits that were following him, some of these evil spirits, they were being sent by his relatives who were in Zim. So he was taken to this other Durban beach and they bathed him with the sea water, thereby chasing away all of the evil spirits. So currently he is such a wealthy man, and at that time my husband had spent about 10 years without ever returning back home, and honestly we had thought that maybe my husband had died, or maybe here in South Africa he had gotten married to another woman. That is the reason why he did not want to return back home. But all this while he said that he was hiding from his relatives who were busy bewitching him. So on that night when I saw my husband after 10 years, I had gone to gossip with this other friend of mine. Then we were just sitting at her compound until it was really dark, and I said to my friend, I need to return back home. So whilst I was walking back to my compound, that was when I saw a man that was walking towards me, and I saw that indeed this was my husband. He came and he hugged me and he told me that we had to return back to South Africa, but he had came to Zim using a flight. I said, we need to go into the compound, but he refused to go into his own compound. He said, quickly go and grab the kids, do not take anything. I said, why are you doing this to me? He then said that the reason as to why he wanted us to quickly return to South Africa, it was because he had been told by some prophets that his family, they were a family of witches and they wanted him dead. So I then quickly grabbed my kids, and my husband at that time, he was driving this other very big car. And then we got into the car. That was when we drove and we went and we waited for this other truck. That was the truck that smuggled us into South Africa. At that time, I asked him where he had gotten this beautiful car, but he never gave me any response at all. But when the truck came, I saw that there were two guys. The one who was driving the truck, then there was another one. He was the one who started driving the car. I don't know where he went with this car. When we arrived in South Africa, I thought that my husband, maybe he will be staying in the locations. But when we went to the suburbs, I thought that maybe my husband was working as a gardener or something like that. But when we entered into the yard, my husband then said, oh my dear wife, this is the house that I have built for you. I was even surprised because my husband was not that rich. He was not a millionaire. That is what I knew when he had came to South Africa. He was a nobody. But here we were. He was showing us this beautiful mansion. The kids immediately ran indoors and they were really excited. You know, when kids have grown up in the villages, when all that they know is poverty, the moment that they are told that this is the life that they are going to be living, kids will get so excited. But I was really worried. I kept on asking my husband where he had gotten the money, but he told me that story over and over again of how he had been working for this other white man, and he ended up being a subcontractor for that white man, and that is how he had made all of his money, Brother Nashi. Then what happened was that I said, let me go to the clinic, but I wanted to do this in secret. I wanted to surprise my husband, so I went to the clinic without the knowledge of my husband, and I removed the family planning implant that I had, because 10 years is not a joke. When I was still back home in Zim, I cheated on my husband. There was this other old man from our village. He was the one who used to come with a packet of sugar, a packet of salt, and he would buy some maize meal for me and the kids. So in return, I would sleep with him. 10 years is not a joke. Just waiting for your husband, who had traveled to South Africa, and he was not in communication with me. So I thought that maybe he had moved on with his life. So I said, let me have a family planning implant, because I do not want to fall pregnant. But now that me and my husband, we were back together, I wanted us to have a child. Indeed, I had fallen pregnant, and on this other day, when I had found out that I had fallen pregnant, I waited for my husband to return back home. When I heard that my husband had returned back home, I then went and I took him, and we went upstairs into our bedroom, and I sat him on the bed, and I told him that he was supposed to sit there, because I wanted to go and fill up the bathtub with water so that he can bath. When I returned, then we started kissing and touching each other. That was when I told him that I had fallen pregnant for him. To my surprise, when I told him that I had fallen pregnant for him, he was angry at me, and he never said anything. He just left, Brother Nashi, and I was confused. I started to cry, because I thought that maybe he had a second wife. He went and he never returned. Throughout the night, I cried. When he came back the next morning, that was when he said, take this money, I want you to go and have an abortion. And he refused to go with me, so I went alone and I had an abortion. To my surprise, when I came out of that clinic where I had the abortion, I found him waiting for me. I asked him, how was it possible that he had known that I was at that clinic, but he kept quiet, he never responded. We then went back home. That was when all of my problems started, Brother Nashi. I was supposed to have my tubes tied so that I won't fall pregnant. He said that he didn't want us to have a child anymore. So we went and we booked. There was an operation that was supposed to be performed on me so that they can tie my womb. So I kept on going for the reviews. We had this private gynecologist that was supposed to do everything on me. When I returned for a review, that was when the doctor was surprised. He said, you do not have any fallopian tubes at all. I was even shocked when the doctor told me that I do not have any fallopian tubes at all, because how was it even possible that a woman that does not have fallopian tubes can give birth to 3 kids? But this is the story that the doctor told me. The doctor then said, for me to be sure, there is this other friend of mine, me and her, we went to the same medical school, but she's based in Cape Town. Are you able to go to Cape Town? My husband said, yes, she could. My husband then said, yes, she can go to Cape Town. I went to Cape Town alone, and I met with that gyno who is said to be the best here in South Africa. She also did a review on me, and she confirmed the fact that I do not have any fallopian tubes at all, so there was no need for any operation to be done. Then after that, even my own uterus, my womb disappeared. I don't know where it went to. Feeling really angry, that was when I asked my husband about this whole issue. I felt so angry, and I confronted my husband, but he refused to give me the answer. My husband then said, if you want to return back home to Zim, you can go, but poverty is going to sort you out. So me and my husband, we are legally married, Brother Nashi, and I do not want to lose this opportunity because I am here in South Africa because of him, and I am scared of what the future holds for me. I do not know what am I supposed to do. When I look at my kids, I then feel that let me just suffer for the sake of my kids so that they can get a proper education, so that they can have a better life. My husband tries to spoil me all the times. We are always moving around the world. He takes me to a lot of vacations, but I do not feel happy at all. Deep down, I feel as if I am no longer a woman because of what my husband did to me. My husband said that he sold my womb to the devil, but I just need some closure. I need to know how exactly did he sell my womb to the devil? Were there any rituals that he performed on me, but he has refused to give me an answer? Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister. Indeed, strange things happen in this world. Just imagine your own husband selling your womb, and he tells you to enjoy life. To enjoy life. If you want to live, then you can live. But poverty is going to sort you out. So what are you going to choose? Poverty or a wealthy lifestyle there in Sandton?